Everyone loves a good juicy secret, and by everyone I mean a very specific group of video game developers, but still, it's basically the same thing. They've been sneaking bonus content into our games for years, making hidden levels, shoehorning in scavenger hunts, and dropping Easter eggs like they're going out of fashion for us to hoover up on a playthrough. And all just to allow us to marvel at how very clever we are for discovering them in the first place. Secrets are some of the most beloved parts of gaming, after all. As much as games like Red Dead Redemption 2 might get praised, it is finding the vampire lurking in Saint Denis that gets players talking excitedly. From old franchise references, to touching homages, to tiny secret fragments scattered throughout a world begging to be pieced together. Here are the video game secrets from the past decade that made our adventures all the more worthwhile. I am the government cover-up of Ash from WhatCulture Gaming, and these are the 10 best video game secrets of the decade. 10. Take the L. Resident Evil 2 Remake. The Resident Evil 2 remake diligently recreated many of the Easter eggs that made the original game great, as well as paying careful homage to pieces of lore that have become canonized since the first 90s release. One knowing nudge and wink comes in the welcome banner set up for Leon S. Kennedy, the new recruit to the Raccoon City Police Department, which you spot as you enter one of the rooms of the overrun police building. In the OG, a translation error rendered Leon's welcome sign with 2 L's, making Welcome Leon a loving misspelling that has lasted the years since. In the remake, this flub was noted with a corrected sign, spelt the right way, now with a gap between well and come for where the extra letter would have been. But that's not all. If you have a good rummage through the desks in the room, you will find the spare L that should have been up on the sign tucked away in a pile of paperwork. It is wonderfully unnecessary, but good fun all the same. And a brilliant secret nod to players who loved the first game enough to be disappointed by the fixed spelling. 9. Missing students. Skyrim. Whilst the Ebony Warrior deserves his shout out for being one of the most well-known and hardest to personally experience in-game, there is another secret that takes Skyrim's spot for the best by virtue of being entirely undetectable. Winterhold has more than a secret icy jail manned by frost guardians instead of your average protectors. It has a slew of missing people that are turning up dead across the map. In a storyline that was made in all but its quest markers, the College of Winterhold has 4 missing apprentices to find. Turns out they're all dead from messing with the wrong magic, but you can still search their bodies and collect unique items with 2 daggers, a necklace, and a ring up for grabs. There's also a chamber underneath the college that holds a Hand of Oblivion, with 4 nearby rings you can place on its fingers to summon a Dremora that will give you a handsome treasure map. Whose rings are those though, you ask? Why, just another 4 missing students who've been messing with the wrong magic. Sounds like Winterhold needs to get a grip on its pupils. 8. Bigfoot. Grand Theft Auto 5. The legends of Bigfoot have long been a source of contention in Grand Theft Auto history, with fans swearing until they're blue in the face that the Sasquatch exists in GTA San Andreas, despite no hard evidence being presented by those that have gone looking for him. So popular was the myth that developer Rockstar took matters into their own hands, and introduced the big furry fella 9 years later in Grand Theft Auto 5. For everyone who's ever wanted to catch a glimpse of Bigfoot, he's now technically real. You can spot him in the mission Predator with your thermal scope, as well as a crazy man in a costume that serves as a nice little nod to the legend in The Last One. Even better though, you can actually play as Bigfoot in the online counterpart, but only if you complete a tedious string of events. If you complete the game 100%, including the Last One mission, as well as finding all 27 peyote plants, and then collect 7 more golden peyote plants that appear once a day from 5:30 AM to 8 AM in snow or fog only, you have a hallucination and even unlock the character in director mode. How's that for fan service? 7. Death Maze. Fallout 4. Another open-world game packed with big and small secrets alike. There are plenty of choices that could have made the cut for this list. I've gone with this one as it was sent around by Kotaku as a reminder to try these games without fast travelling all over the shop, and the sorts of details you can discover when taking things slow and having a good look around. A message that perhaps resonates with almost all the other choices here too. The death maze is like a Saw movie brought into terrifying, immersive reality, or at least as real as Fallout gets, anyway. Near Milton General Hospital, there is a parking garage with a doorway adorned with painted white arrows, where inside you'll face reams of ghouls, traps, puzzles, and bloody tableaus that lead to 2 chests. One has a prize in, and the other will explode as soon as its counterpart is touched, making for quite the ending to an experience that was designed with freaking you out in mind. It's wonderfully creepy, it's horrifyingly detailed, and it's a pertinent reminder that secrets are often lying in plain sight. 6. Fantasy pop culture. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The adventures of Geralt of Rivia and his monster-slaying, Gwent-playing, woman-laying ways have consistently proven to be some of the most gripping parts of gaming, with plenty of secrets brimming at the edges of this enormous open world. Case in point, developer CD Projekt Red took influence from the insanely popular Game of Thrones and threw a little Easter egg into their fantasy world, with the corpse of one Tyrion Lannister discoverable in the Witcher's own version of a sky cell. And that is not the only pop culture given a wonderful Witcher makeover. YouTubers have been turned into cave trolls, Doctor Who's weeping angels appear as ornate statues, and 2 alchemists styled on Breaking Bad can also be found. Still though, it is CDPR's personal touch with these things that remains the most interesting. Ciri teases her time and space-bending abilities as giving her a glimpse of the studio's next project, Cyberpunk 2077. Or at least, that's what some throwaway dialogue suggests.
People there had metal in their heads, waged war from a distance, using things similar to megascopes.
If Cyberpunk returns the favour with the Witcher 3 Easter egg, this will be one of the best linked universes of its kind. 5. Scarecrow Boat. Batman Arkham City. Comic books are so expansive, there's almost always opportunity for some juicy Easter eggs and secrets to be slipped in for those faithful to their paperback pals. And Batman, of course, revels in this like no other. Arkham City in particular has its fair share of sneaky additions to discover, but none are quite so exciting as discovering the Scarecrow Boat near Warehouse 5B in the Falcon shipping yard. Continuing the trend of getting a glimpse of the villain's behind-the-scenes antics, Arkham City's boat hideout can be cracked into with the cryptographic sequencer. In there are big old stacks of cockroaches that have been delivered for Scarecrow's personal use, and a henchman that will freak out and die as you inspect him. It seems this is his lair for testing out his fear toxin with some seriously unsettling side effects, and serves as proof the villain is alive and well amongst the other little tidbits that litter the city title. That he comes back as the antagonist for Arkham Knight shows just how well seeded these nods really are. 4. Guinevere, Dark Souls. Dark Souls, aka an exercise in masochism, has been one of the most influential and quite literally game-changing titles of our generation. And as much as it makes you work to become a better player through relentless streams of near-impossible boss battles, it's the hidden areas that are the true chest-thumping discoveries within the game. From the hidden developer messages sprinkled in Ulasil to finding Sif in the Chasm of the Abyss. There are plenty of favourites, but arguably the most lasting lies behind Guinevere. In Anor Londo, if you're wearing the Dark Moon Seance ring in the Dark Moon tomb, you will find a set of stairs that are revealed from a disappearing statue. Otherwise, attacking the wondrous Guinevere shows her to be nothing more than illusion, making the sun set forever in the area and allowing passage to duel with Dark Sun Gwendolyn. It is a gnarly fight and reveals some lovely lore that isn't easy to find, making for both interesting exploration and hardcore gameplay in the way only From Software knows how. 3. The Lord of the Mountain. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. In one of the most touching secrets to grace video games of this decade, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild paid tribute to the late Nintendo president and CEO of the company, Satoru Iwata, who sadly passed away in 2015 due to medical complications. Iwata was famed for his quirky, lovable approach to gaming and his company that reflected the heart of Nintendo, and for bringing the company to mass appeal for making entertaining titles rather than impressive hardware, whilst also influencing the launch of the DS and the Wii. As Breath of the Wild was in development at the time of Iwata's death, the team decided to honour his legacy with the Lord of the Mountain. An NPC by the name of Botrick with notably Iwata-like features tells Link of the creature, as well as selling arrows on the cheap. Heading to the mountain he speaks of, you can find the celestial creature in a clearing and snap a picture, which gives you this information. Legends say this holy creature is a reincarnation of a sage that died on the lands it now protects. It is sometimes known by its other name, Satori. 2. Faye and Her Markings, God of War. Everything in God of War is meticulously crafted with player experience in mind, feeling purposefully placed and rewarding as you hurtle through a visionary take on Norse mythology. No matter how agonizingly well designed a world is though, there's always one niggling factor that renders it still just a game: path markers. They're a necessary evil, but one unavoidably immersion-breaking feature all the same. In God of War, Kratos is propelled by gold paint, gold steps, gold rocks. Anything that indicates what's accessible to him has a little smattering of metallic coating on. And whilst this might seem like a friendly nudge from the developers, it is actually integral to Kratos' story. Finding out his late lover Faye was actually a giant and had foretold of his journey long before he took it, it becomes clear that every mark laid out in this world was put there by Faye as a gentle guiding hand, rather than an interference from behind the fourth wall. It is a wonderfully sensitive touch, and only makes Faye's Jotun secret all the more impressive when the world relates back to these actions. 1. The Strange Man, Red Dead Redemption 2. As already mentioned, the world of Red Dead Redemption has some of the finest secrets in video game history, being absolutely packed to the brim with the things from prologue to close. The open expanse of the Wild West has everything from vampires to wolfmen to the night folk returning in all their glory. But these spooky apparitions aren't the only fellas to be returning from the original game. The Strange Man dishes out a quest in the first game which ends in open fire that miraculously doesn't hurt him, making his name all the more pertinent. In the second, you can find his portrait in progress in an abandoned shack in Lemoyne. As the game progresses, he's conjured up in his entirety once you approach the easel as John Marston. If you then look in the mirror, he'll appear behind you like a spectre. Creepy. This unsettling fellow is alluded to as the Grim Reaper, and is one that can make devilish deals, one of which backfires and potentially causes the cholera outbreak in Armadillo. With the amount of lore and intrigue surrounding the character and his humble few appearances, the Strange Man has been one of the most fascinating additions to the Red Dead Redemption games ever. And that's our list. What's your favourite secret that has cropped up in this decade of gaming? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. I've been Ash and this has been WhatCulture Gaming. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and come back again soon for some more juicy secrets. Thanks for watching.